I'm Kerry Rowett, and this is the Align and Attract podcast, helping you to create your version of an aligned business. Let's dive into today's episode.
Business goals. How do you decide what to align to? I am so glad you asked. This is something I absolutely love to work on with my clients, and I can't wait for us to talk about it today. So you might like to take some notes during this podcast, or you can just be thinking it through. You might come back to this one later and write some of your own goals down, because this is a really important part of the process, is getting clarity on what it is that you really want, what's actually important to you, not to your peers, not to your mentor, not to somebody else in your life. Like, what is it that is actually important to you? Now, aligning to business goals is something that we focus on a lot in my Align and Attract group program. If you're not in the program yet, it is totally fine, because there is so much value in this process of just getting clarity on what it is that you want. And if you do want to align to your goals, well, then the Align and Attract program is there for you whenever you are ready to join. So clarity is one of the keys to alignment, and so is self-awareness. And they really go hand in hand in this process. To create your goals and to start to align to your goals, you really need to be able to define what it is that you want. And you need to have that level of self-awareness to be able to look at your life, to understand what is actually possible for you at this time, what works for you in relation to your own priorities and your own values, and what it is that you are willing to do to make your goals happen, or whether it's more of a priority to go with the flow, but to have your goals kind of just sitting there, maybe more so in the background. So kind of to create the alignment, but then to flow. So let's start to dive in. So when you are creating business goals, the first thing I'd recommend to do is to focus on a specific area. So today we might just focus on money. I mean, it's such a big one for so many people in business. It's something that you tend to spend a bit of time thinking about. And income goals are something that come up for people all the time. So where I would encourage you to start when you're thinking about your business goals is to ask yourself the question, what is actually happening now? So for you, with money, potentially like with your income, where is it at now? How much are you actually making? Like, for example, on a monthly basis, how do you feel about the money flow that is currently in your business and in your life? Because, of course, money may flow from other sources in your life as well. For example, through a job, also through your family unit, or potentially other ways also. Next thing I would like you to ask yourself is, how do you really feel about that at the moment? So does it feel expansive and light? Does it feel unlimited? Or does it feel heavier, more congested? Does it bring up anxiety or fear or worry? How are you feeling about money in your life at the moment and your income at the moment? And there may be, which is something I find quite commonly, a sense of scarcity around that, or a sense of wanting more, or wanting to kind of like grab or to reach for the more, which is, of course, totally fine. Of course, it's fine to want more, but at the moment, I'm interested in knowing what's the feeling behind that, because, of course, you could want more, but it could be like, this is fun. Like, I want to create more because I am excited to, and I'm excited about the impact I could have and about what that means for the transformation for my clients and so on. Or it could be more coming from a place of fear. And only you know that. It comes back to the self-awareness that I mentioned before. The next thing I would like you to do is to start to switch it around. So if there were any negatives that came up for you, so any fear or limitation or worry in how it was that you were feeling, this is a really good place to start. And you can ask yourself, instead of feeling X, Y, Z, those emotions that came up for you, how would you like to feel in relation to your money? And that might be safe, secure, expansive, free, prosperous. So think for yourself, what would you love to be feeling? So your existing feelings, your existing limited thoughts potentially around money can give you that guide to tell you what it is that you want. And that becomes some of the goals that you'd be wanting to align yourself with. Equally, I asked you to think about what it is that is happening now, and what the actual state of the flow is, and what you're experiencing. And again, if there's anything around that you're not feeling comfortable with, or is not sufficient or sustainable at the moment, then what would you be wanting to shift that into? What would feel sustainable? What would feel sufficient, or indeed abundant or prosperous? So what would you like to be noticing and experiencing in relation to money in your business and in your life? So for example, I always have enough money for all of my needs and my desires. There is an abundant flow of money into my business. So thinking for yourself, like, what would I love to be seeing and experiencing in my business and life in relation to money? It could be around support. Money is always supporting me. I feel abundantly supported by money, or I feel abundantly supported by life. And it's your emotions and your feelings that you're having, and also what it is that you're noticing in your life that, like I said, are going to help you to discern what it is that you would like to open up into, what it is that you do really desire. Next, I would love you to think about, what do you actually need in order to experience that, create that, or feel that? So for example, it could be like, I want to feel like there is an abundant flow of money into my business. And then what do I actually need in relation to that? Okay, I need to know how to create an abundant flow into my business. I need to set up systems that support an abundant flow of money into my business. I need to take action that is aligned with creating this abundant flow. I need to create enough action, or I need to take the right actions. Perhaps I need to be consistent. It could be that I get excited about a goal, or I want something, but then if I take an action or two actions or three actions and I'm not there yet, or it's taking longer than I might have desired, it's like I then drop those actions and then I'm looking for something else. I'm on to the next shiny object, or I'm just not taking consistent action that is going to support me to create my goals. Do I need to actually stick with certain strategies? So that's in line with the consistency. Do I really need to stay beautifully connected with my clients and understand what it is they want and need. Like, you need to be able to discern, where are my gaps? What would I need to be able to support me to feel like I want to feel around that money goal or desire within my business? Next, let's think about specific goals. So it might be that, yes, you want an abundant flow of money into your business, and yes, you want to feel free, expansive, a sense of safety or security around money. But you, of course, are likely to have some specific goals around what that actually looks like in terms of amounts of money. And that might be a monthly goal, or it might be an annual goal. So, how do you decide what it is that you are going to align to when it comes to those real specifics? I think there is nothing wrong with dreaming big. Lots of my clients love to do that. But what I also love to see is when we're able to go underneath that and look at some of the specifics and the foundations of our business and the structures within our business, and to ask ourselves, do these aspects actually support my goal? Because that's then where we can focus our energy. So, for example, I have so many times seen clients, but also just people talking in groups and things like that, and saying, I might have this income goal. Let's just say it's $100,000 for this year, it's $500,000 for the year after, it's $2 million for the year after that. Now, there is nothing wrong with having those really beautiful, big, expansive goals. But if you've been in business for a while, you will already understand the difference between a business that is making $100,000 in terms of the pricing, the number of clients that you're working with, the types of structures and automations and processes that you need to have in place, compared to what you might need if your business is at that $500,000 level, compared to if your business is at that $2 million level. Like, that is a really huge difference. So it's not just a difference in the amount of income, it's actually the whole structure of your business is potentially going to be very different. It's not like you're going to be working 5 times harder to go from a $100,000 business to a $500,000 business. There's going to be many other things that are going to change and evolve. So if you're wanting to have a stretch goal that is, quite expansive compared to where you are right now, that's totally fine, of course. But what I would love you to start to think about, if you haven't already, is, what does that mean in relation to what it is that I'm going to be learning and growing into? Yes, in relation to my beliefs, like that, I do believe is a really important part of it. Your mindset definitely plays a part. Of course, if you don't believe that you can do it, if you've got limiting money beliefs, those things, of course, are going to hold you back. But this is also a strategy issue or a strategy question. And if you haven't listened to my episode on, do you have a strategy problem or do you have an alignment problem, I really encourage you to go and listen to that one now. That is episode 8. And yeah, really starting to reflect on this. So if I'm wanting to have this expansive goal, then what needs to change? What needs to grow? And then that is what you're going to be creating some goals around. And then there might be things you need to learn, maybe people you need to work with in order to be able to start to get some of those pieces of the puzzle in place so that you have the right kind of structure and strategy to work towards that bigger income goal. So it might be that your reach needs to expand, and that might include maybe the number of people that are following you on social media, maybe or maybe not. It might include the number of people that are on your mailing list. That is a pretty big one. The number of people who are accessing your free trainings and seeing your sales pages when you're actually doing a launch. Those things are really important if you are wanting to increase an income goal and you're wanting to expand your reach. You may need to be looking at conversion. So you'll be wanting to know, what kind of conversion do I have at the moment? Like when I'm actually doing a launch, what kind of percentage of people who see my sales page are actually enrolling and paying in my program? Once you know that kind of information, it makes it a little easier when you want to scale. It could be strategy. Like I mentioned, do I feel like I've got the right kinds of strategies in place to meet this bigger income goal? And do I have the right structure in my business? I cannot tell you the number of times when I've been working with people or been involved in conversations and there is this big income goal, but when you look into it, the business structure as it is, so the way that the money flows into the business, the way that you work, the way people can pay to actually engage with your business, like that structure does not allow the kind of income that you desire. It's just, you'd have to be so incredibly busy. And in fact, even if you were sometimes working 80 hours a week, like you would not be able to achieve that income goal. So it's actually a structural issue that you're needing to look at. So there's a little bit in that, and I don't want you to get overwhelmed by that. And in fact, what you might do is you just start to pop it in there. So let's just say you've got this goal to one day have $1 million business. You don't need to sit here and stress about it if you're making $100,000 at the moment, but you can start to align to some goals heading in that direction of having a $1 million business. So not just, I have a $1 million business and I have these really positive beliefs around money, but that my business structure is aligned with having a $1 million business. My business strategy is aligned with having a $1 million business. I have the kind of reach and I am growing, the number of people who might in my community and the people that I engage with and who feel connected with me. So you can have goals like that. I'm really improving my ability to convert people who really enjoy connecting with me into paying clients, for example. So lots for us to think about. Just to quickly go back through. So this all starts with clarity. It's getting clarity on what it is that you really want. And one of the ways you can do that is really focus on what it is that is happening now. Get honest with yourself about what's happening now and how it is that you actually feel. Then switching that around. What would you prefer to be happening? How would you like to be feeling? And what do you actually need in order to feel that, see that, experience that? Like, what do you actually need to be doing? And then focusing on some of those specific goals. Definitely have those specific goals around income, around money. And then rather than letting it just go off into the realm of fantasy, I want to have this $1 million business or whatever the amount is, but without any deeper thinking around that, really asking yourself, what would that mean? What does that mean I'm actually working towards? And this does not have to happen overnight. This is something else I see as well. We can sometimes feel like, if I don't know how to do this in the next year, like we can really lose a bit of motivation and energy. But if you could see it as something that you are on track and working towards, but the length of time it may take to get there may be a little bit longer. It may not be that instantaneous internet success that we sometimes see. Then you can actually be more strategic and actually work to it in a really real and grounded way and just see it as, yeah, this is something that I'm on track for, and I'm continuing to develop my beliefs, my mindset, my capabilities, my skill, and my understanding of the strategies that I will need in order to create that kind of goal and to achieve that type of impact in my business. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you do want to go further, then definitely take a look at my Align and Attract course at alignandattract.com/course. I would love to support you in my Align and Attract community. Thanks so much for joining me, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.
This was episode 9 of the Align and Attract podcast with Kerry Rowett. You can find all of the relevant show notes over at alignandattract.com/blog/9. As you are really tuning into what it is that you would like to align to in terms of your business goals, it is ideal to bring yourself into the best energetic space that you can be in. To do that, one of the ways I personally love to do that is via Reiki. I do have a really beautiful Reiki healing for you, which tunes into the energies that we are all going to be experiencing through 2021. You can find that free Reiki healing at alignandattract.com/Reiki. Remember, you can revisit it throughout the year. You're going to find that different things resonate. I would love to hear how you go with that, and I'm looking forward to connecting with you next time. Thanks so much for being here.